It's the first time I can say with certainty that floods have uncovered fresh gold. And the crazy thing about it is, I had no idea that the event even happened until we returned to the area. I noticed there's been a massive flood since we were here last. A spot that I used to have to climb over a log jam, it was all open. Hopefully some gravels have been shifted and it might open up some fresh bedrock. An isolated thunderstorm that dropped an incredible amount of water right in the river that I find my largest gold nuggets. It's been several weeks since I've been back in. On my last gold prospecting adventure, I uncovered an incredible 27 grams of gold, just shy of an ounce. It was a 3-day solo expedition into Tasmania's enchanting wilderness. And the return trip has been long overdue. Now, with a good window of weather up ahead, it's time to head back in. This time my son Saxon will join me. He's done plenty of prospecting trips in the past, but nothing of this size and magnitude, and he'll need to carry in 3 to 4 days worth of food, supplies and prospecting equipment. As a father, there's a certain amount of responsibility and anxiety in a trip like this, especially when I do so much of this alone. But the company will be well received, and this becomes an adventure we'll never forget.
What? Woo! Have a look at this! I was just looking at that. I'm not sure whether I did or not. In a long time since I've done around this area. We've got a snake and he won't get off the track and we need to get past. Go that way, buddy. He's not happy. We've got a stick here. We just need him to... Oh, there he goes.
There he goes.
We just stopped. I was showing Saxon some of these old workings along the way. There's the trench that runs right around there. Hard to make out, but they were in here at one point. Warm today. Normally don't need to take a break on this track, but when it's this hot, pretty hectic for us Tasmanians. So hot. Yeah, well, it'll be good for you once you're in the water.
We'll walk out on day 3, it's going to be even hotter.
Hotter again?
Mm.
Yep. Still recovering from the flu, so it's all a bit much, the heat and the flu. Follow on a little pack track, gives us a bit of access. Oh my gosh, that scared the absolute life out of me. I just stepped under this one, face down low, and big tiger snake shed his skin. Giving me a heart attack. He's probably around here somewhere. Scary stuff. You want a break? Me too after that. Let's hope he's not here. Picked a hot day, son. We certainly picked a hot day. Yeah, I reckon he's got a little hole that he lives in under this tree somewhere. He slides in. We're out in the thick of it now. Do you think you'd know your way home? You reckon? I don't think so. It's not much of a track. Dad gets lost on it still. The best of times. Yeah, to give you an idea, it's about 27 degrees centigrade today. Not ridiculously hot, but for us in Tassie, we're not used to it. It'd be nice to get in the water. I noticed there's been a massive flood since we were here last. A spot that I used to have to climb over a log jam, and it was all open, so hopefully some gravels have been shifted and it might open up some fresh bedrock. Have you spotted some already?
More wait for it to go still.
Oh yeah, that does, look.
And that.
Mica in that tannin water. There's lots of stuff that does that. Saxon's starting to see illusions. I do too once they get to this point. Just looking at where the floods pushed all these trees back. And this was a really rich spot for me, just downstream here slightly. I got a 20 gram nugget plus probably another 150 grams worth of gold, so it was really rich, and it's exposed a bit of bedrock here. I'm kind of wishing I had brought the metal detector because it's quite shallow, this stuff down in here. So next time I'm here I'll get onto that, especially little pockets like this. But I was saying to Saxon we might do a bit of panning. We did bring a pan. Stuff like that would definitely be holding gold. But we're also looking at this reef as well, because there is potential that it's shedding here somewhere, because there's such big gold and there's been crystalline stuff mixed in with it. There's potential for it to be breaking away anywhere just upstream. A lot of quartz, isn't it? This is where I was camped up last time on the last trip. Beautiful little camp spot. I had my fire down where Saxon's standing on the edge of the river. And we've got just enough space, I think, for a couple of tents up in there. But yeah, found really good gold just upstream here a bit. And an incredible trip that was. Oh, that's a contrast. We're ready, finally. It's a process getting to this point, that's for sure.
Why does my mask stink so?
Where's your gloves?
Oh,
They're grabbing. Righto, so last time I was here, down in here I found my big nugget, the piece of the trip. And I've noticed that coming back now, since the flood's been here, there's a bit of exposed bedrock just in here on this side, on the other side, left hand side, which is actually the inside bend. I don't know that this was exposed last time, I'm not entirely sure, so I might focus my time here to begin with and see how that goes.
quickly worked down to the bedrock into some crevices on this inside bend.
So I just noticed I opened up a crevice and it looked alright at first glance, but then after a bit more work I noticed a whole heap of leaf matter in there. Now usually the first thing that collects is the leaves after a crevice has been worked. It's that light material, so I think it has actually been worked at some point on the last trip.
We persevered a little longer in this spot just to make sure nothing had been missed. This bedrock was the same type of bedrock that I'd found all the gold on the last trip. There were plenty of fractures in it, and unless you break up all the fractures in bedrock like this, it's very easy to miss good pieces of gold. And sure enough, there was our first piece that had been hiding away.
We've got our first bit, Saxon.
And shortly after, another couple of pieces showed up.
Righto, a couple of small little flakes in there, but I think that ground's been worked pretty hard. So I'm gonna push up to where I found the majority of the gold on the last trip, and hopefully there's a bit of ground there that we can still scratch out. Righto, this was the hot zone all down this edge, and it had that different type of bedrock that basalt I was referring to it as, and hopefully there's a bit more stuck up in it.
I set out to work on a giant crevice that I thought for sure would have been worked at some point, but on a closer inspection, tight pack rocks were found, and immediately my excitement levels kicked in. And the gold began to show, but my thoughts quickly turned to my son. How was he faring? He was about 50 metres upstream of me, so I went and joined him, and I went and quickly pointed out a few nice pieces of gold caught up in the cracks of the bedrock.
Suck that up, there you go.
Some quick adjustments to his snuffer bottle, and he was away. There are a few nice pieces, and I'd need to stress the importance of breaking this fractured bedrock up to find that gold that's trapped behind.
So with this stuff, just break it up real, like you'll get through it with your crevicing hook and you'll find more and more. See this little crack here, stuff like this, if you can try and break into that.
Continued to teach and work with Saxon for a good half hour, and ripped into that bedrock to show the places that the gold would hide.
You'll tell by the way it moves, so when you fan it lightly, the gold won't move as much as all the other material, you know?
This river has a lot of mica and other shiny minerals that makes it very hard in this tannin water to identify what is gold and what is not. But I think a way I've always been able to discern is the way that the gold moves underwater. It's so much heavier than everything else, and it moves a lot less, so that's what we'll be looking for.
So watch what I do with my hands when I'm working the gravel. I blow it back, but then I'm also moving the bigger rocks with my other hand. Watch this.
After a few more quick lessons for Saxon, it was back to work on a huge crevice that I'd only just begun, and once I restarted, it was almost immediately back on.
Saxon! Saxon! Hey! Wanna see a nugget? Nah, he's too much in the zone. That is a ripper. What a nice piece. Couple of grams probably. It looked bigger underwater. It's been a while since I've been on the gold. Nice. It looked like there was a few more bits caught up in that quartz stringer as well.
I've certainly lost count of how many times I've seen good gold nuggets come from quartz stringers like this. The sharp nature of the quartz creates an awesome sluice box effect and captures the gold very consistently. I could see another larger piece stuck down in the quartz.
It's almost as big as the other one. Oh, way. Need to get Saxon back here and come help me clean her out. Saxon, you finding any? Come back and watch me work this. We can work it together. I've got 2 nuggets.
The crevice wasn't finished yet, and I was excited to see what else was hiding beneath.
So just in this quartz stringer here, there were 2 nuggets. I think there's a little bit more gold in there still too. See that?
The more you could break this quartz up, the more gold was found. Little picker down in there. Have a look at that. If you've enjoyed this video so far, make sure you give me and Saxon some love by hitting that like button and dropping some comments below. Your comments, your shares, your likes, and your engagement on these videos helps me to keep going. Sometimes I'm my worst critic and I do find it hard to stay motivated, so I do appreciate every single comment and engagement on these films. I never get tired of the prospecting, but the filming and the editing can be a huge added workload at times.
Another little nugget. Dad's showing off.
At this point, I thought this crevice was almost done, but little did I know just how deep this would run into the river and what would be hiding down in the base. It seemed like a lifetime to get down to the bottom of this crevice, and I was actually just about to give up on it, but I'm so glad that I just persisted that little bit more.
What? Woo! Have a look at this. I was just daydreaming about how there'd be a giant nugget in this Middle Earth crevice that was kept going down.
It was buried down there deep.
Have a look how deep that is. I was thinking, oh, there'll probably be a big nugget down in here, just joking around in my mind, and then the next minute...
This one was going to be tricky to get out. It was buried down there so deep and the crevice not wide enough for me to fit my hand. I started by using Saxon's snuffer bottle to see if the suction would pull it up against the nozzle.
I'll just snuff it, see if it'll pull it out, the pressure.
Which I sometimes do with smaller pieces. But this time it was just too big and heavy.
Not massive, but...
Without the torch, I can't even tell.
Oh, you can't tell without the torch. I don't know how I'm supposed to get it out of there. See if you can get your little hand in there. Man, that looked massive at first. It's a nice piece, wow. 7 or 8 grams at least. What a chunk. Oh, there might be more down in there. It's so hard to clean that out. Ah, it's a nice bit. It's like the other piece that I got down here on the first trip.
We needed to be sure that there wasn't more down in there. And after what seemed like a lifetime, we did manage one more little picker. But after that, this deep centre earth crevice was finished. Pretty late, so we're gonna head back to camp now, grab something to eat, and just call it quits for the day. We've done really well for the couple of hours that we've been at it, and hoping tomorrow will be just as successful, if not better. I can't believe that big nugget.
What did we bring for the first day?
That looks like rotten. Gonna burn. An old rainforest timber can be fickle. Ah, still can't believe that big nugget. That was crazy. If there's gold like that there, we need to focus our time on that spot tomorrow.
And I'll stop cooking my steak.
Yeah, grab your food. That looks good, Saxon. Huddled in here, the fire's down there, kind of wasting our good resources a bit. We'll go sit around the fire a bit later tonight.
That's good meat.
Get it going again. So is it what you imagined, Saxon? Kind of what you pictured? Looks like the same experience as what you see on video.
Apart from the camp area's nicer.
Camp's nicer.
Yeah.
Yeah, camp's nicer in real life, apparently. Well, it was probably about an hour and a half of work. I was just getting into it, but Saxon was keen for some dinner. I can't believe that big one. That is a weapon. That is a nice slug. I reckon it'll go 7 or 8, maybe even 10. And then there was 2 other really good nuggets. That one there, maybe a couple of grams. And that one there, the first one, that one just blew my mind. I wasn't really in the mode, wasn't really expecting it, and then just out of nowhere. It's a really character bit, got some cool shape to it. Yeah, most of it all out of that quartz stringer. And then just back behind it was the big one down in a really deep crevice. Here he comes. You're not impressed?
How come you found that? I couldn't see it.
You couldn't even see it, could you, when I had my headlamp off it? Saxon's hard to impress sometimes. I've seen way too much gold, my boys.
Could have some scissors. I might have my
Lucky for Mum.
spoon. Well, I was going to take it out, but I put it back in.
Oh, if you got deodorant,
Look how luxurious this
You got
is. I've
everything.
got nail clippers.
wasn't that heavy to carry in?
No.
This guy brought everything with him.
I need to do my toenail.
Come prepared. You better come over to the Hilton and watch a movie with Dad. Bring your mattress.
Yeah, hello? Hello?
Yes, sir. Hotel Regina, Paris. How may I direct your call?
Yeah, you're in Paris?
Yes, sir.
I'm looking for a guest there. Jason Bourne.
One moment, please.
Thank you.
morning, everyone. We've got ourselves another beautiful day today. Just waiting for Saxon to get up. I think the young man's a bit sleepy. You alive in there, Saxon?
Yeah.
Could hear the little ringtail possums doing their thing in the trees last night. There's normally an owl that lives around here somewhere, but I didn't hear him last night. Love this time of year, the birds doing their thing in the morning. Just warming up a bit by this fire before we jump in the wetsuit. I noticed walking upstream yesterday when we came up to camp, there was some crevices here that I'm not entirely sure were exposed before the flood, so I'm just going to have a quick scratch this morning, test these out before we head back up, obviously, to where the good gold was. Just wanted to make sure. First piece for the morning. I'd certainly began finding gold, but it was too early to tell whether this was fresh bedrock or whether these pieces had just been missed. Maybe it was that big a flood that it's replenished some of it. And then I found the unexpected. Saxon, just got a nice nugget. Real coarse one. Where is this gold coming from? This spot's been done, I'm sure of it. This flood has just changed everything. There's bedrock that I have never seen before, and it's exposed new gold. Either that or it's replenished. I can't quite figure it out. On closer inspection, I could definitely see tight packed rocks. It's fresh bedrock that hasn't been worked. The floods have pulled the gravel right back. So down in here we've got some fresh bedrock that hasn't been exposed before the floods. There used to be a ton of gravel just sitting around this little edge here, I think, and we may have worked to a certain point and it just got too deep, but yeah, I've just noticed there's tight pack rocks and a lot of material that's never been moved, so it's a good looking scenario. I'll wait for you to jump in and you can snuff some of it up. It was fun to watch Saxon develop his new skills of sniping, and a reminder of how far I've come on my own journey of prospecting. There's only so much you can be taught and instructed on. When I think about how I learnt to snipe for gold, it was the time spent and the passion that fueled that time that taught me the most. But don't get me wrong, there's certainly a lot that I can give Saxon a head start on. What an awesome experience to help my son learn to find gold.
Looks like a little nugget.
Oh.
See how you got to be patient, it's just slowly getting down to that level and then all of a sudden everything starts to show. You just got to be real patient and keep working an area where you find gold, there's going to be more gold. Righto, we got a few more bits, but it was pretty short-lived. Just a couple more flakes for Saxon. We're going to head upstream now, back to where we were getting all the gold last night. I think there's a lot of work to be done up there, so we'll get to work up there. Things have slowed down dramatically. I've been digging a series of holes all in this area that we found gold last night. You can see up here, holes, and I'm not coming up with too much, just a few flakes here and there. It was in the center of this one last night that big nugget came out in the other pickers, and then I continued it this way, but nothing seems to be deposited on this side, so very strange considering there was a lot of gold on the last trip down this edge and then nothing up here. But the only thing I noticed was there's this big ledge of bedrock here, so a lot of it might have shot up over that and deposited back here, and it's just too deep down the front of that ledge. So we're back to the drawing board a bit. Need to figure out a bit of a game plan because it's not really paying off here. The other difficulty I'm having is that the water's so low at the moment because it's been so dry. It's very hard to work it. Alright, we've decided to shift upstream a bit and see if we can do a bit better up there. When I was here on the last trip it was probably about half a foot to a foot higher. We'd had good rain. A little bit frustrating because I do feel like there's a lot more gold there to be found. I'll just have to come back to it at another date. Alright, this is the zone that I want to test out. I have found gold here before, but I haven't put a whole heap of time into it. So if we dig a little deeper, we might find something. It is a deeper pool too, so it'll give us a bit more flow hopefully.
It didn't take long and I began to find a few small bits. And then I found this nice little banana shaped piece. It was nice to be working in the sun after a cold start to the morning. After that it was into the deeper water behind a big ledge that I found a few nice bits.
Saxon thinks he's found some. Show me what you got.
Saxon was excited that he'd uncovered a couple of nice pieces himself.
Nice shiny flakes.
A few more little flakes, nothing exciting to report. So we're just going to head back to camp, have ourselves some lunch, and then decide whether we're going to
hang out here. We might end up packing up and making the journey home. The weather's really good for the next few days, and I've got the other boys at home. Gold's a funny thing. It's definitely slowed down on us. That gold came relatively easy last night, and it gave me this false sense of that today was going to be unreal. And we did get that nice nugget this morning, but it's definitely dried up now. And I've put in some time digging and trying to find something, but it just hasn't happened. So yeah, we're going to have a break and make a decision what we're going to do. Whoa. Indomie noodles. Getting gold today. Yeah. Definitely not as nuggety as yesterday, but some good gold nonetheless. Nice little coarse nugget this morning. Awesome little bit. And then there was one other little pickery bit. And things dried up, as they do in the gold prospecting world. She can be firing flat out 1 minute and then it'll literally go to nothing. I've had it happen so many times. Like you'll finish a trip where you finish really strong, then you have excitement to come back, make plans, get back down to the river, and the next trip can be a fizzle. So just funny how it goes. But anyway, this one's been a good trip. Good amount of gold today and a very good amount last night for the few hours that we put in. Been awesome to bring my son out and teach him the ropes a bit as well and help him learn how to do it. So I think it's been a win. See how Saxon did. Got onto a little bit, didn't you? Up in that pool, the top pool. And a little picker. I reckon nearly a gram, son. Maybe.
Was that picker the one that
maybe
I
just
seen?
Over half.
Was that picker the one that I seen in that clay?
It was. You remember when Dad was helping you?
Oh, yeah.
We dug that hole, and then I was like, "That looks like a little picker." Beautiful gold.
Okay, this was another incredible trip, and it was such a good experience to be able to take my son along with me. The gold in the hand for a bit of scale, and then some close-ups of these awesome character nuggets. There were plenty of good pickers, just under a gram. And just above a gram. And then of course the big one. This thing surprised me because on the river I was sure it would be around 10 grams, but I guess it's got a fair bit of ironstone caught up inside of it. And for the grand total, we've got ourselves 13.73 grams, almost half an ounce, and we've got Saxon's gold. It looks like Dad might have been hogging the nuggets. Saxon had a really good day on the shiny gold on the upper pool on day 2. Saxon's total comes in at 1.57, not a bad result for a young fella. This will be a trip that I'll remember and cherish, Saxon. I'm sure you'll be able to remember it and now be able to look back on it as well. I hope the rest of you have enjoyed this adventure. Once again, if you could like, drop a comment below and share with those that might want to watch it as well. It'd be much appreciated. Thanks again everyone, and until the next one, happy hunting and we'll see you all then.